Now, NJ, before we start this video, I think it's just worth mentioning this. Now, the first ever pay-per-view review we did was what pay-per-view?
Elimination Chamber.
In what year?
2011.
Exactly. So now it's officially not just been a year and a bit since we first started doing the videos, but this is the year anniversary of our first pay-per-view, and I think that deserves a big British fist and a big what's up as well. Exactly. So just thought I'd mention that, put that out there before we did this review. Well, I guess we could say now, welcome to our Elimination Chamber review. We are none other than the British Fist.
Good shape.
I am Mr. Parkin, wearing my "Didn't You See Me on YouTube" t-shirt, even though we're mirrored, and this guy sitting next to me. The excitement is soon going to go, NJ. But do it while you can, like Santino would. It's NJ.
What's up?
Exactly. Subscribe, like, and comment your thoughts on this pay-per-view down below. Whatever positive or negative comments you have, just give us them.
And make sure you contact us in the link in the Gooch box below.
Yes, and I think this is going to be the return of a certain gimmick for NJ, isn't it?
Yes, woman people.
And while NJ is getting ready, I think I will just get on to a couple of things here. The dark match of this pay-per-view was Alex Riley versus Hunico. Good to see Alex Riley get a pay-per-view spot. Typical dark match for WWE, but the Elimination pay-per-view essentially opened with the SmackDown Elimination Chamber match.
No, it was the Raw Elimination Chamber. Oh my gosh, what a surprise. The biggest match, that's the best build, is being the opener. Yeah, good thinking.
Well, you could argue that Kane and Cena has had the best build, but I do sympathise with you there. Having Raw open was a bit strange in my opinion, especially seeing as it did have sort of the most star power in it, and it did seem like the most logical match to end the show. We kind of knew from then on that Cena and Kane would be in the main event, and we'll go on to justify our reasons for that later on. As an opener, though, you know, it was a really good. I mean, it was a good way to open, but really should have been further on in the card, in my opinion. I think the SmackDown one really should have opened, as it had real less star power in it, and really deserved to be lower on the card.
With Raw obviously being the bigger show than SmackDown, with it having the wrestlers, it's like all the 6 wrestlers, they had meaning. They were pretty much top of Raw. So this Raw Elimination Chamber was logical, it was good, and I'm just thinking that this match, because of how it was built and the wrestlers in it, it should have had higher up in the card, but sadly the WWE thought, we'll put one of the best matches we can have tonight as the opener.
Yeah, I mean, this was essentially going to circulate around Punk and Jericho, so this is one of the reasons I'm surprised this opened the card. We had Punk and Kofi being the first 2, and then you had Ziggler in there, who... Wow, how many bumps did Ziggler take in this Elimination Chamber?
The thing about that is, obviously, for Ziggler to have a big match like this, obviously he was showing his strength and his ability in this match, so I'm going to say that Ziggler actually did show his good stuff in this match.
Truth got eliminated by CM Punk. Are you surprised they didn't have Miz maybe eliminate Truth or something later to continue their storyline? Do you think they're going to just drop it now, or were you surprised? I mean, I was a bit surprised that Punk eliminated R-Truth.
Well, the thing about this is that I was really surprised that Truth was the first one eliminated, and I'm just thinking that the fact that they got him out before Miz, it made me think what happened on Raw, you know, when Miz botched that thing. It made me think that obviously they're not going to put them both in the ring just in case Miz botches again. Sorry, Miz. But yeah, so overall, it was a bit of a surprise for me, but I guess they left Kofi, who's just this rising star. Maybe.
He was going to be doing the spots, wasn't he?
The spots, so they had to save him, yes.
Kind of like Morrison did last year. I mean, there was a lot. I mean, you had Miz come in second to last. There was a lot of focus in this match on Punk and Jericho, which is the right way to go, because they are essentially going to be the WWE title match at WrestleMania, so it kind of hyped up that quite well. You had Jericho eliminating Dolph Ziggler, and the Kofi dive from the top of the pod. There was this. I think this match overall was pretty good up until that whole injury thing. It was going along really well, but that pause with the whole Jericho injury kind of hurt the match slightly, but the match was going on along really well. It was being really well worked. There was some good spots in there up until that Jericho injury, in my opinion.
Well, I'm going to say quickly, yes, this will also include the SmackDown one, but during the match, the other wrestlers had to play possum lane dead, while the main concentration of the pay-per-view was, like, in this match, it was Punk and Jericho, so they were the lively ones, while everyone else stayed down so they could have their moments. And again, yes, that is their concentration, because obviously it's going to lead up to Mania. But at the same time, when it led to Jericho being taken out, again, it was just left with Punk in the ring with The Miz, which I thought was a good view that could have happened, and it was a good part of the match.
The whole Jericho injury thing, he gets knocked out unconscious on the outside by CM Punk, so you could look at this 2 ways. you can either look at this in the fact that it made the match fall a little bit flat, but at the same time, Jericho never technically got pinned in the Elimination Chamber. So on the build to WrestleMania, they'll use that obviously as the source for the Jericho Punk title match, which I think was a smart booking decision, as Jericho didn't exactly need to do a job and he didn't need to win the title either. So it was a smart booking decision. The whole Miz and Punk thing at the match at the end was pretty good, but the match did kind of fall a little bit flat towards the end. I'll just say that.
The Miz and Punk thing, I give thumbs up to. I really enjoyed that part. The Jericho getting taken out, the way I see it is that obviously Punk and Jericho are the big highlight thing between Elimination Chamber now WrestleMania. They're going to have so much going on. So I think yes, we predicted Jericho Punk to win, but I think now the fact that Jericho's been taken out, it's leaving Punk as the champion going towards WrestleMania, which I think is the highlight. Because yeah, you could have said Jericho could have won, but the fact that Punk is there standing tall over Jericho, it's a good moment, I think.
Yeah, it's very strange, isn't it, that Miz has got all this backstage heat and he was in the final two. But Punk essentially wins the match. I thought this chamber was by far the best chamber of the two. It was a good match, don't get me wrong, but should it have really opened the card? I don't think so.
No, again, I'm really disappointed they had this match first just because of the way it was going, the fact that it had the right wrestlers in, future feuds. I really was disappointed, but overall it was a good match.
Yeah, I would say it was the better of the two chambers. Tamina versus Beth Phoenix for the WWE Divas Championship. It wasn't a bad match, was it? I think it's probably the best Divas match of the year that we've seen so far.
Well, with this match, again, as I've said in the past, Tamina's had her build through Natalya, and Natalya's not been the best build, but the fact that Natalya obviously did this for Tamina's got her shot now, and the match itself, it went really well, I think. The way that they performed against each other, it was a good Divas match. Tamina looked like she could have won sometime.
She got the splash in, but the Beth kicked out.
That's true, and that made a big spot for her. Beth, obviously, staying strong, going and getting her a win. Yes, it could have made Tamina look strong, and Beth Phoenix look strong, leading on to the future towards WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, a solid Divas match, really. I don't really have too many complaints about it. The only complaint I do have is that the finish did kind of come a little bit quick. But it went 7 minutes, 15 seconds, so it got a lot of time for a Divas match. So I'm pretty happy with this match, personally. It wasn't like a highlight or anything, but it was just better than what we'd usually get in a Divas match. At least it was built to, and I actually cared about it for once.
True, for a Divas match, it did deserve this spot at the pay-per-view, so I liked it.
Yeah, we're going to save that for the main event, brother. Johnny Ace and Otunga, Mr. Entertainment, John Laurinaitis, comes out to the ring and he thinks that he should be the general manager of Raw, and we get the return of, we get the return of 3 people onto the pay-per-view, don't we?
The first thing I want to say is that they hyped this up, saying that Johnny Ace has got a big announcement for this thing, so it's something to wonder what's going to happen. At first, I thought he was going to announce something for the Royal Elimination Chamber, but when I saw that the open, I thought, okay, he's going to announce something else. Coming into this, again, it was interesting to give him his spot in this. Obviously, they were trying to think how we're going to fit Johnny Ace in this pay-per-view somehow. Him having this announcement, and then there was 3 returns.
I mean, I'm surprised that we hyped this up over the internet. It would have been a good thing to announce maybe on SmackDown or Raw. Just saying. You had Del Rio returned, you had Christian return, and you had Henry return from a suspension to basically come out and say Teddy Long sucks and that John Laurinaitis should be the GM of Raw and SmackDown. Yeah,
Johnny Ace didn't really get to finish what he was saying because he got into it by Del Rio, but they all led to obviously what Laurinaitis would have said, which was the whole GM SmackDown. The first thing I want to say is the fact you had Del Rio, you had Christian come out. It made you think, okay, they're coming out for this segment. Returns at this segment instead of maybe the main event or the SmackDown Elimination Chamber. You kind of use them now, so it's kind of made you think, great.
Yeah, I mean, you brought out all these returns, and you just did it to further along that Laurinaitis should be the GM of Raw or SmackDown. I just didn't think this was the best use of Del Rio and Christian, especially seeing as they're returning after pretty lengthy layoffs. Just my opinion on that one. Plus, it was a promo segment, hyping up to a TV show on the pay-per-view. Just filler.
It was good to see them. Well, there was pops for them. People liked them. It was really good to see the return. Now we're expecting more from them between now and WrestleMania, but it's just I don't really like their involvement in this pay-per-view.
Next we had, throughout the night we had all these Santino Rocky-style vignettes, which just pissed me off because I just don't see why Santino should be a focal point in this pay-per-view. The guy's a comedy character, I get it, he's funny, but when you focus on him a lot, especially with the World Heavyweight Championship, it just makes it look like a joke. And we'll move on to that further in the Elimination Chamber.
Well, there's 2 things I want to say about Santino, Rocky Santino, is one, that he's not the draw for this SmackDown Elimination Chamber. So the fact they gave him all these video packages, yes, they made him funny in them, so it added that entertainment. But
I didn't laugh.
It's just
Funny.
It's just like they're concentrating on Santino in this when he weren't going to be the biggest draw for this. But anyway, it's just son of a gun.
And to be honest with you, Santino, little did we know that these video packages were actually leading somewhere. And we'll go on to that next. SmackDown Elimination Chamber match: Daniel Bryan, Big Show, Barrett, Rhodes, Carly, and Santino for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think going into this match, we were a little bit disappointed. Carly and Santino in there, and we were thinking to ourselves, well, Bryan, Big Show, and Barrett and Rhodes are going to be the final four.
The sad thing is, the opening two,
Big Show and Barrett.
And when you saw that, you were thinking, in my first thought was, in the Raw one, you had Punk opening, the champ opening, and I'm just thinking, you're giving Daniel Bryan an opportunity
He's
here.
a chicken shit heel. He's going to be in last. That's the way.
I still just think the WWE should just give him a chance to be open and see how far he gets. But other than that, the match itself, it started to go okay because you had the two strong wrestlers who obviously are going to get the future push eventually, I'm hoping, opening. So it's okay, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to have Daniel Bryan open and really carry that match a little bit better. But with him being the chicken shit heel, I did understand WWE's reason to have him come in sick for, as we'd later find out, Big Show taking him out of his pod. But I mean, you had Rhodes coming in, Santino coming in, Big Show eliminated Carly within about a minute, which is the best thing to do in my opinion. And then you have Big Show going in Daniel Bryan's pod. I thought that was quite funny.
With that spot there, yes, because we were thinking that obviously the main focus, like I said, in the Raw one was Jericho and Punk. In this one, it was Daniel Bryan and Big Show.
No, it was Santino.
Well, that was at the end, but during the match,
it
was Big Show, obviously trying to get hold of Bryan. And the fact they had this little spot here, it was interesting because obviously their feud's been going on the last few weeks. But again, Big Show pretty much did what we expected, was dominate most of the wrestlers until later.
Yeah, and Rhodes and Barrett actually managed to eliminate Big Show. And I was thinking to myself, God, that's a big moment for Cody Rhodes and Barrett, especially Cody Rhodes who's got the pin.
They had their thoughts against each other. Barrett and Cody fought against each other, but in fact they worked together to take out a big guy, Big Show. It was really good. That's when we got Punk. We thought, okay, now we're having the right wrestlers gradually building up to the final.
I can't even say it, MJ. What did I do when this next thing happened?
The next part is the fact that for some reason the WWE thought it would be a good idea to have Santino roll up Cody Rhodes and have him eliminated.
Okay, I'll say this. I legitimately walked out of the room and didn't fucking care about the rest of this match. But I've calmed down since. You know, Santino eliminating Cody could possibly set up an IC title feud. I don't like the fact that Santino was a main focus of this and eliminated Cody Rhodes. As much as I admit that the guy is over with the crowd and he gets a great reaction, do I feel this guy really should be in the final two of Elimination Chamber for your World Heavyweight Championship and really makes the World Heavyweight Championship, in my opinion, you guys may disagree with me, look like a fucking joke? Yes, I fucking well do. And do I think Santino eliminating both Cody Rhodes and Wade Barrett really makes them look like a joke as well? Yes, I fucking do. And this is why I hated the rest of this match and I didn't watch it because it was bullshit.
The thing I like about this match is that first you take out Cody Rhodes, and when we saw that moment, it was just like, okay, you're giving, for some reason, Santino this push towards the rest of the match. Then you have it happen. Yes, it happened to Daniel Bryan trying headbutt a Benoit moment. Also Benoit. And the fact that you gave Santino the pin over Barrett as well, you've taken out the two big guys who this year are going to get a huge push. The fact that you've had Santino pin them both, it's really making them look bad, and obviously they really affected this match because now Santino made it to the final with our World Heavyweight Champion.
And to be honest, from then on it just becomes predictable. I mean, as a fan, as a smark, I don't like this. As a fan, I don't like this either. Just because, why do you center your whole Elimination Chamber around a joke character in Santino Marella? I get that he's over. I get that people like him. But what I don't get is why is he in this prominent of a spot and then you have him and Bryan ending the show and it's just that you know who's going to win. There's no unpredictability. And the fact that Santino even got his finisher in on fucking Daniel Bryan and nearly got a 2 count, nearly won the World Heavyweight Championship, is a fucking joke. I don't care what people say.
The sad thing is, yes, there's people that like Daniel Bryan, obviously, and there's people that like Santino, but the thing is, that the fact that they're in the final, the Elimination Chamber was meant to be the draw of SmackDown's top wrestlers. Thanks to injuries, it led to this. No, that's why it led down to this. The injuries took out them. We left with this, and the fact that Daniel Bryan and Santino in the ring for a lot longer than they should have been at the end. I really thought this is not a good chamber, and it's let down for so many reasons.
And we didn't even get a swerve or anything really, like a Christian, you know, like it all got done in that segment. We didn't really get a swerve, which we probably could have expected to make this chamber better. So basically, you get Daniel Bryan winning. He makes Santino tap out with the bell lock. Thank fuck for that. And it looks like, well, we're going to be getting Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, because after the match, Sheamus comes out. And to be honest, I think this was a smart decision by WWE, having Sheamus come out. Did I feel he should have laid Daniel Bryan out? Probably not. Maybe they could have had a stare down or something, but I'm over. At least they're getting Sheamus and Bryan interacting with each other before WrestleMania, setting up that match for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Sheamus coming out was, I think, a really good touch at the end. Obviously, we had Sheamus saying that he's going to make his choice here, roughly. And the fact that me personally, I'm glad that he took down Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan was obviously trying to make a move, a statement, like trying to hit Sheamus, and Sheamus laid him out, and then obviously gave us our future WrestleMania match.
I didn't think that SmackDown Elimination Chamber was that good. I mean, it just fell flat. I mean, Santino is the main focus, and I'm supposed to enjoy this. I'm sorry, no. I can't enjoy Santino, a joke character, being the centerfold of the Elimination Chamber match, which is supposed to be a serious match to determine who the best guy. I fucking hated this match. This was shit. My
problem with this is that the fact that WWE had two big returns and they saved them for a segment that obviously is going to be building up next after
TV
show, and they, instead of having them interrupt this match and have their chance to be in this chamber, to make this chamber a lot better than what it was.
We had Gabriel versus Swagger. Did we really give a shit? Swagger wins in about 3 or 4 minutes. Does it really?
The build up to this match was absolutely horrible.
Jack Swagger was on Superstars
every week, and the fact they had to add Natalia in the beginning to get this match going. Yes, you get Natalia on TV, but the fact she fired, you got Hornswoggle, so much going on here, leading to this match. Again, at first I thought, oh, the title means nothing, so why not give it to Justin Gabriel and just move on? But this match was just filler, and I didn't like it.
Did you need to make Natalia far? Was that really necessary? On a pay-per-view? Was it necessary? No. Then why fucking do it? Why even go there? Just... Taker's going to be on Raw, by the way. Using a pay-per-view to hype to the TV show. Well done, WWE! It's a good job we got this free. Fucking hell. We got a lot of Rock and Cena rammed down our throats this fucking pay-per-view, didn't we? I mean, it is the main event of WrestleMania. I can understand why they do it, but so much of it.
Sometimes you hype up things too much. There's hyping up and there's hyping up too much. And I think with this Rock and Cena thing, as much as the video package may be different each time they show it now, they're showing different videos, different ideas, it's still a bit of too much of Rock and Cena. Yeah. But again, it's their biggest match, so they're gonna do it. So
yeah, no, I mean, I'm trying to accept it. It's just I'm not a massive fan of this whole filler stuff during pay-per-views. But it is going to be the main event of WrestleMania, so we were always going to get it rammed down our throats tonight.
But what we want to say about one of the video packages is the fact that we got some appearances from special people.
What, the FCW guys?
Oh yes.
We had Seth Rollins, Leaki, other guys that I watch on a regular basis, on a weekly basis on my channel when I review FCW. It's good to see some FCW guys in there getting a bit of spotlight. It was a bit of a mark out moment for me, because I do watch and I do like FCW, so a massive mark out moment for me personally, but it doesn't override the fact that Santino eliminated Cody King Rhodes.
No. Now on to the main event, which, to be honest, when it comes to Elimination Chamber, the fact that the pay-per-view is about Elimination Chamber, you don't really want an ambulance match to finish the show.
No, I mean, it's called Elimination Chamber, and I thought the Raw Elimination Chamber was probably going to be, especially with Punk and Jericho in there, was probably going to be the main event, as it was probably going to be the most exciting match. Cena versus Kane, did it surprise me that they did this in the main event? No, because they've got Cena versus Rock as the main event of WrestleMania. John Cena versus Kane was a bit of a lead-up to that. It was an ambulance match. The match wasn't bad. I didn't think the match was terrible. The Cena lighting was pretty good. The crowd were pretty hot for it. I mean, that's one thing I'll give it. The crowd were pretty into this match, probably more trying to boo Cena than anything. But
the fact that, obviously, I'm not happy that Cena got the main event, because obviously they're maybe going to swerve back down giving Cena the main events, but they're hyping up for Rock at WrestleMania. The match itself, again, it's got one of my favourite wrestlers, of course. I was looking for this match to see how they go. But the ending was pretty much predictable, even though they had spots where Kane did look strong over Cena, so it was good.
Essentially, at the end of the day, you've got to really understand that Cena is main eventing WrestleMania, so you can't make him lose this. Essentially, it just isn't going to happen. And from a booking decision, it is right. I think it's the right thing to do. Kane makes Cena pass out, gets in the wheelchair. It was going really slowly until the 11-minute mark when they really started doing like no DQ style stuff. You had Cena trying to do the whole roaming thing on the wheelchair, which didn't really have that much of an effect. But you had announcers table spots. You had that nice spot at the end. I mean, there were some good spots in this match. It just wasn't it was an okay main event. You had the spots they did were good, and what they focused on essentially and built up to was pretty good. So I'm not going to knock this match too much. It was an okay to good main event in my opinion, and it got 21 minutes as well. So, and
what I'm going to say about this match is the fact that throughout the match that they got to be concentrating on Kane's monster gimmick and Cena's build towards WrestleMania, and the fact that they had Cena having to use weapons to take down Kane numerous times in the match obviously kept Kane's monster gimmick, as well as Cena being the one to obviously come out on top at the end. So in the fact that they concentrated on both wrestlers in this match, I really was into this match. And the fact, the ending, yes, I said before that Kane could have maybe picked up the win and then Cena gets the build up to WrestleMania. But the fact that obviously Cena needs to get as much wins as he can, it's the sad thing, because I think between the winning this match and WrestleMania, Cena's going to get obviously big pops and big build towards WrestleMania.
You had that nice spot at the end with Kane. You had Kane chokeslaming Cena through the announcers table, and then you had that fight on the top of the ambulance, which I thought was pretty good. Then Cena AAs him off the ambulance, very reminiscent of the Dave Bautista incident at Over the Limit in 2010. So the match finishes like that. Cena puts Kane in the ambulance, and Cena kind of predictably wins. But it's the right decision. I mean, whichever way you look at it, we don't like Cena that much. I know you hate Cena, but he is main event in WrestleMania, so essentially he was going to go over here. They made him go a bit mental, which is good, but it just surprised me that they didn't maybe do it a bit more to really emphasize that embracing the hate thing. But at the end of the day, he's not turning heel. They're not going to do anything with his character. He's going to be the same old Cena, and he's going into this main event with Rock. It's just not really making the Cena character very interesting.
Even though Cena got a win over Kane, the thought I had in this match was the fact that they're giving this the main event. I was expecting some kind of swerve or something different to make this match understandable why it's the main event instead of the Elimination Chambers. So I was expecting something different in this match. But the fact that Cena came out on top, again, was the right thing, but as the main event, I'm not really 100% sure about that.
It was WWE booking 101 pretty much. Do you want to go on overall thoughts?
Overall thoughts?
Well, can I say something before we go on to overall thoughts, actually? I'm sorry if I come across as very timid or very not caring in this review. The whole thing with Santino eliminating Cody Rhodes really affected my mood. So I apologise for that if this review has been affected by that at all. But, sorry. You carry on with your overall thoughts, Andrew.
It's just that going into this pay-per-view, we made our predictions, so we had thoughts of what could happen in this pay-per-view. Yes,
all our predictions right, didn't we?
Some of it was right. And it's just that now we look at it and I'm thinking that the matches were good in some way, but then things that happened in the match kind of screwed stuff up, especially in the SmackDown Elimination Chamber, which we had bad thoughts of going into anyway. But all I can say is that they let this pay-per-view down, and it's not a pay-per-view that, in my opinion, did its justice for the pay-per-view. Maybe for Mania, yes, but not for this pay-per-view.
I think essentially what we have to look at is that this is essentially a filler pay-per-view to WrestleMania. And in terms of hyping stuff up to WrestleMania, they hyped up in the opener. It shouldn't have been the opener. The card structure was horrible in my opinion, but that's just a little gripe, I guess. You had that concentration with Punk and Jericho, which was good. Beth is looking strong on the way to Karma, I guess. John Cena wins, as he probably should have done, going into the Rock at WrestleMania. The SmackDown Elimination Chamber match gave us a good hype for Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus. We know we're going to be getting Taker and Triple H now. Maybe even a Cody Santino IC title match for all we know. So the pay-per-view did a fair amount to hype up Mania. It's just that I didn't feel that the pay-per-view quality was pretty average. I mean, if I was going to give it a grade, I'd probably give it a C. I thought the Raw Elimination Chamber match was good. The main event was somewhat good. There was a lot of filler, of course. We're always going to expect that though going into Mania. So it gets a C for me. It wasn't like it was a bad pay-per-view. It set up what it needed to do, which is essentially what it is a filler pay-per-view. But we didn't get too much substance from it. It wasn't like a great pay-per-view, but still did its job in parts. I just didn't agree with some of the booking decisions, especially in SmackDown Elimination Chamber.
If I look past what happened in the SmackDown Elimination Chamber, all I'm going to say is that all the right wrestlers looked strong in their matches, especially like Cody Rhodes and Wade Barrett, even though they got pinned by Santino, they did look strong in the match. So what I'm going to give this, in my opinion, just because even though the structure threw the pay-per-view off for me, I'm going to give it a C+, just because I felt that, yes, it weren't the best pay-per-view, but it is hyped up stuff that they need to now towards WrestleMania.
Yep, so that's our thoughts on Elimination Chamber. Get your thoughts in the comment section below, of course. Finish the video, I just don't care.
This has been a long week, but we've had so much to say, good points, bad points. But the thing is, now we need to know your points. So please leave your comments in the comment section below. And that has been it. Boom. Mr. Parkin and me, NJ. People, do this and be a part of the British Fist. Until next time, people, hasta la vista.